All right. Speaking of bitterness, it's calimony time. You've heard of alimony. That doesn't sound fun. Calimony sounds pretty not fun, too. As we know, UCLA left the Pac 12 to join the Big Ten. And because of that, the Pac 12 fell apart. And the University of California, Cal, had another public school in the UC system. It's University of Cal Berkeley. It's University of California, Los Angeles, right? Same system. They have the same board of regents. And so it's two of their campuses fighting here, splitting up. So Cal had to join the ACC, which is going to cost it's totally illogical. That water around the Bay Area is not the Atlantic. Other than that, there's many problems with it. But part of the deal of recommending and allowing UCLA to join the Big Ten was they would have to pay some money to some alimony, if you will, for the divorce and fund Cal Berkeley. Well, the California Board of Regents is expected this week to accept the recommendation that UCLA pay Cal $10 million a year over 6 years. That's some pretty good money for a divorce. $10 million per year. So $60 million. UCLA, not surprisingly, was trying to get much lower. But this is expected to go through, which takes a little of the shine off of UCLA's move to the Big Ten, and at least temporarily helps Cal Berkeley for a little while. It's expected the Big Ten media deal is going to be like $50 million more than from the ACC, what Cal's going to get from the ACC, all of that stuff. But thoughts on calimony, Pat? And does this I don't know, what does this mean for UCLA?
Yeah, in this divorce, Cal got the house. Cal might even have gotten the vacation home. Cal got the better car. I mean, they cleaned up in this calimony. And I love it. I think it's great. I have no love lost for the schools that destabilized and ultimately destroyed the Pac-12. I want everything to go in favor of the schools that tried to stay, like Cal and Stanford did until they had to go, basically. I've said all along, I want Washington State and Oregon State to get every dime they can get out of what's left of the Pac-12. So I'm fine with it. You know what? You can't just do your own thing in a university system and just expect everybody to say, "Oh, all right, go ahead." You know, there's still some thin connective tissue somewhere in colleges from one school to another where you can't just screw over the other school all the time and get away with it. So I'm totally fine with this, and I hope Cal puts the money to good use. Lord knows they need it. They're swimming in debt, and they've forfeited, along with Stanford and SMU, like most of their money going into the ACC. So they need to put it to good use for sure to get up and running in that league, provided that league actually still exists in a couple of years. But I am fine with calimony, and I'm glad they're getting the max.
I was trying to find like Cal's financial situation as Pat was talking, but I think at one point they were in debt more than any other like athletic department in the country. I think they were more in debt or owed more in debt than any other program. I can't remember exactly the specifics, but this is when you really crunch the numbers. And John Wilner, our guy out on the West Coast, he crunched the numbers a little bit last week on this. I think they're kind of fascinating. Is when you combine the $10 million that UCLA will have to pay Cal with around $10 to $12 million in increase of UCLA's travel costs, and then maybe salaries going up to compete in the Big Ten, coaching salaries, things like that. You're left with what he says is about $45 million average in from the Big Ten media rights. And had the Pac-12 stayed together, the amount was, with the LA schools would have probably been in the mid 30s to 40 million. So you're talking about the net, right, of those two things being fairly small, probably smaller than UCLA thought when it made the decision to leave. And that's really interesting. Now, I know that's just for 6 years, and then the folks at UCLA will say, and I think they're right in this was a more long-term play for beyond 6 years, and I get that, especially as we're talking about all this house settlement and the new model. Like, that's true, right? Getting a foothold in one of the big two Power 2 leagues. But nevertheless, for the next 6 years, their net on this move to the Big Ten probably may have started at 20-ish million, 25 million, and now is down to probably less than 10.
Do you guys think this is going to work for UCLA? You think this is going to work? Big Ten. Maybe they had to go because USC wanted to go, but
work as in, how would you define work? Winning championships?
Having a successful athletic department.
Mm.
Certainly in football and men's basketball.
I effectively didn't answer actually the question that you asked, which was, what does this mean for UCLA? So we'll try to answer it now. That I don't know. I have severe doubts it'll work. They did, I think, kind of get dragged along in USC's jet stream into this. They were facing their own financial crisis and felt like they needed to find a way to get money that they had not been getting. So, I think if you ask them, it's like, well, we had to. But is anybody, A, that enthusiastic about it? B, are they good enough? Right now, no, they're not good enough. I mean, like football, they could absolutely get smoked for a while here. Maybe they get it together, but we've only been saying that about UCLA for most of its existence. Other sports, they could do very well, but they also could be jeopardizing some elite non-revenue sports. Basketball, this is going to be a tough thing for basketball. There's going to be a lot of difficult midweek travel. They have an excellent coach in Mick Cronin who got them to a Final Four. They're really good in women's hoops. They're good in a lot of stuff, but you're taking on more difficulty, not just in terms of competitiveness, but in terms of logistics and probably in terms of academics and in terms of athlete mental health. And your fans probably aren't going to enjoy it as much. So my guess is no, it's not going to work, but we'll see. Maybe they'll surprise us.
Is it going to work for any of these programs that are making these realignment moves? I mean, you look at them, and I mean, you just kind of wonder. But specifically, UCLA and even Oklahoma stand out to me as two programs that may struggle in the new environment. But you wonder when you look at Oregon and Washington, in USC for that matter, in Utah, competing in the Pac-12, in the competition in the Pac-12 compared to the competition in their new league, specifically to the Washington, Oregon, and in the LA schools, like they seem to have a better right path in the Pac-12. It's pretty obvious. Texas and Oklahoma, they seem to have a better path in the Big 12 than they will in the SEC. But it's almost like anymore, it's not about having a better path. It's not as much about championships. It is about money. It's become a money business, and it's about money. I was talking to Bob Bowlesby, former Big 12 commissioner, recently. Actually, he gave me a kind of a quote about all this, exactly what we're talking about. I'll read it. You have one winner and you have one loser. You take the aggregate of the Big Ten, who have been traditional winners, and some are going to have to lose. There'll be a top, middle, and a bottom. With realignment, you're aggregating a bunch of schools that traditionally have been at the top. Remains to be seen how it all will play out, but some of the traditional winners will become traditional losers.